I am Sheng Minglin. The world sees me as gentle, sensible, calm, and steady. Step by step, I grew from a humble concubine's daughter to the mistress of a marquee mansion. Having endured endless inner house struggles, I finally settled into peaceful years, regarded by many as the most sober and fulfilled winner in the mortal world. Yet, no one knows that my composure, tolerance, and restraint were never innate intelligence or natural calm. They were forged, polished, and forced upon me through years of loneliness and helplessness, within the enclosed courtyard walls and the fickleness of human relationships. I learned from an early age that a grand mansion is never a peaceful dwelling, but a silent battlefield. There are no blatant swords and spears here, only schemes hidden in smiles, reproach concealed in gentleness, and preference buried in trivial details. Hierarchy between legitimate and concubine-born children, closeness and estrangement, interest and trade-off. These are the unshakable rules carved into the bones of aristocratic families. I lost my mother at a young age, faced my father's indifference, a strict main wife, and uneven sisters. In my childhood, I had no one to rely on, no one to shield me. I lived like moss in the courtyard, inconspicuous, quiet and unassuming, desiring nothing more than to survive safely and grow up in peace. Losing my mother in my early years is the deepest obsession and the most painful weakness of my life. I still remember the look in her eyes before she left, the way she held my hand and repeatedly told me to restrain myself, hide my talent, and protect myself in all things. She said a woman should never flaunt herself or act recklessly. For those with no backing, sharpness is the deadliest flaw. Young as I was, I did not fully understand the cruelty of the world or the coldness of human hearts. But I kept her last words firmly in mind. From then on, I tamed my temperament, concealed my edges, never competed for glory, never strove for superiority, and never defended myself in disputes. Others thought I was slow-witted and mild-tempered, yielding and accommodating in everything. Yet I was simply afraid of failure, afraid of mistakes, afraid of the slightest willfulness. Legitimate daughters had their parents to support them and their family status to rely on, free and bold in their ways. Only I was rootless duckweed, an unloved concubine's child. One wrong step would lead to an abyss. One moment of flaunting would bring endless storms. I dared not be willful, dared not act coquettishly, dared not indulge in momentary freedom. I could only learn to speak cautiously, walk carefully, and suppress all grievances, reluctance, and youthful emotions deep in my heart. Growing up, I watched my sisters compete for favor, dignity, decency, and victory. I witnessed the shifting hearts and fickle human relations in the mansion, and gradually realized a truth. For women in aristocratic families, life is not about momentary passion, but lifelong stability. Too much sharpness invites jealousy. Too much sincerity invites hurt. Too much intelligence invites suspicion. Therefore, I hid my wisdom, buried my talent, pretended to be simple and weak, and became the most unremarkable person in the courtyard. I studied diligently, learned household management, observed affairs, and judged people silently, mastering all skills needed to survive in inner houses, yet never showing even half of my ability. I saw through inner house intrigues, false harmony, and interest trade-offs, yet never exposed them, never flaunted my insight, never made enemies. I always kept my mother's fate in mind, knowing that the weak are doomed to be trampled in deep mansions, and that those without protection have no way to voice their grievances. So I forced myself to stay sober, steady, and grow stronger quietly and unobtrusively. In my youth, I once had ignorant crushes and indulged in momentary tenderness. I thought affection was pure and sincerity invaluable, that mutual understanding would lead to lifelong companionship. But with time, I came to understand that mortal love is often illusory. Rootless affection can never overcome class disparity, changing human hearts or worldly rules. Young love is light and fragile, unable to withstand wind and rain, destined to be an unfulfilled past. I withdrew soberly, ended it gracefully without entanglement, resentment, or sinking. I placed that faint fondness gently in my heart, and from then on guarded my original heart, no longer craving romantic love. All my life, I have never trusted fate or relied on luck. All my stability, decency, and fulfillment are earned through persistent tolerance, daily precipitation, and years of careful planning. I never crave momentary joy, fleeting glory, or temporary superiority. I only wish for peace in the remaining years, safety for my family and calm days. The world thinks me overly cautious and restrained, but they do not know that I once had nothing, so I fear losing what I have gained. I once had no protection, so I know best how to defend and discipline myself. Later, I married into the marquee mansion, standing in a noble position and managing household affairs. Those who once humbled, neglected, and slighted me all treated me with respect and courtesy. Yet I never grew arrogant or domineering. I still upheld my original heart and principles, treating others with gentleness and handling affairs steadily, knowing advance and retreat, understanding restraint, distinguishing good and evil. Having witnessed noise and disputes, I know the value of plainness. Having experienced the wickedness of human hearts, I cherish rare sincerity. Some ask me whether I have ever felt regretful or wronged for living such a thoughtful and restrained life. I have sat alone late at night, looking back on half my life of storms. I regret having no support in my youth, regret that my mother could not witness my peaceful days, regret half a lifetime of tolerance and hidden sharpness. Yet I have no remorse. It was those helpless years that forged my perseverance, those days of self-reliance that perfected my sobriety, those cautious moments that guarded my peaceful future. I gradually understand that a woman's life need not be magnificent or stunning to the world. True fulfillment never lies in reckless flaunt or spoiled arrogance, but in self-possession and self-awareness, in knowing how to hide one's ability, endure hardships, and choose advance or retreat. It is retaining one's original heart amid mortal noise and protecting oneself amid chaotic human relations. I am Sheng Minglin. Once I hid my edge and restrained myself merely to survive in peace. Now I am calm and magnanimous, simply cherishing quiet and good days. Half my life was spent in tolerance and tempering, half in mortal fireworks and ordinariness. I understand the world's sophistication yet remain unworldly. I have experienced ups and downs yet preserve sincerity. I seek not to astonish the world, only peace for the rest of my days. Not perfect fortune, only a life true to my heart. Often standing quietly in the courtyard, watching the rotation of the four seasons and the blooming and fading of flowers, I always ponder slowly over the life I have walked. The world all envies my perfect ending. Having a fine companion, stable marquee mansion life, and harmonious family, as if I was born with unshakable poise and destined peace. Yet only I know that all seemingly smooth perfection is accumulated, managed, and guarded bit by bit through countless unknown and lonely days and nights. I never believe in unearned blessings or accidental stability. All worldly calm and magnanimity are backed by enduring tolerance, constant sobriety, and years of perseverance. In the past, I concealed my talent and endured hardships to survive in the deep mansions, a way of self-protection when I had no backing. Now I am gentle and measured, calm in handling affairs, a transparency gained from experiencing worldly vicissitudes, and poise born of solid self-reliance. Half a lifetime of frustrations has taught me that, for a woman, the most reliable support never lies in family status, parental protection, or a husband's favor, but in the sense of propriety in her heart, the sobriety in her eyes, and the ability in her hands. Only by standing upright, acting steadily, and keeping a clear mind can one guard her original heart, protect her family, and hold lifelong stability amid fickle human relationships and worldly ups and downs. I have seen too many boudoir ladies trapped in love, vanity, and worldly rules. Some are arrogant with favor and sharp-edged, eventually incurring jealousy and ending in desolation. Some are weak and dependent, their fates entirely tied to others' moods, fragile in the face of slightest storms. Some are obsessed with competition and comparison, exhausting their sincerity and wasting their years in endless struggles. Through observing and reflecting all the way, I have come to understand deeply that the cultivation of a mansion woman is never about momentary victory or fleeting glory, but about nurturing a steady heart, a transparent mind, and a compassionate soul. Striving for nothing is not cowardice, but sobriety after seeing through vanity. Concealing sharpness is not mediocrity, but wisdom after mastering restraint. After marrying into the Gu Mansion, I have comprehended this truth even more profoundly. The Marquis Mansion is noble and prominent, with strict rules and complicated human hearts. Beneath the splendid prosperity lies undercurrents of turmoil. The disputes among noble families are no less fierce than inner house struggles, tangled with fame and fortune, clan ties, and human scheming. One careless move leads to total failure. Yet I always hold fast to my original heart, clinging to no connections, showing no arrogance, relying on no power. I treat others leniently with leeway, handle affairs steadily with propriety, show respect to superiors and kindness to subordinates, remain indifferent to disputes and clear in judging right and wrong. I never take the initiative to stir up conflicts, yet I never allow myself to be bullied. I never crave power and fame, yet I can steadily manage household affairs and guard the peace of the whole family. Some say I am too indifferent, never passionate or persistent in anything. Yet the most lasting stability in this world is never vigorous and fleeting enthusiasm, but gentle and enduring tranquility. In my youth, I also yearned for vigorous affection and blatant preference, but years eventually teach people to grow. Extreme fervor fades easily. Intense love changes readily. Only long-term companionship, measured getting along, and mutual fulfillment can withstand the test of time and worldly changes. My companionship with Gu Tingya has never been a vigorous passion born of momentary infatuation, but mutual understanding and redemption after weathering countless storms. He has seen the cruelty of the world and understands the grievances hidden in my half-life tolerance. He has experienced worldly ups and downs and knows the hardships of my cautious steps. To the world, he is an unruly and powerful marquis, yet I know the sincerity and gentleness hidden in his heart. To the world, I am a gentle and sophisticated mansion mistress, yet he sees the perseverance and lonely courage beneath my mild appearance. We both walked out of mud and storms, covered in hardships and worldly weariness, so we cherish the present mortal peace exceptionally and understand better how to tolerate, understand, and support each other. I never ask for unconditional preference or unrestrained indulgence from him. All I seek is lifelong mutual understanding, shared hardships, and unwavering companionship. In prosperity, we restrain our edges together and live low-key and peacefully. In adversity, we support each other and tide over difficulties side by side. Marriage is never a game of victory or defeat, but shared joys and sorrows, common honor and disgrace, and mutual fulfillment for a lifetime. I am capable of managing mansion affairs and safeguarding clan stability, and he is capable of protecting me for a lifetime and granting me perpetual peace. This is the best companionship and the most perfect fulfillment. After half a lifetime of vicissitudes, I have long seen through worldly glory, wealth, fame, and vanity. Whether noble or common, people ultimately seek nothing more than family health, peace of mind, and tranquil days. Once in the Sheng mansion, I was cautious and vigilant every day, merely striving for a safe place to settle down. Now, in the Gu mansion, I live calmly and peacefully, finally possessing a true home and lifelong belonging. The most precious blessing in the world is never luxurious clothes and fine food or supreme glory, but someone who understands your tolerance, cherishes your kindness, and guards your wholeness. It is ordinary mortal fireworks and harmonious family peace. I finally understand my mother's painstaking intentions in those years. She taught me to hide my talent, endure hardships, and protect myself. Not to teach me cowardly concession, but to teach me to guard my heart, establish myself, and survive steadily amid worldly turmoil and fickle human nature. In my youth, I could not grasp the profound meaning, only feeling wronged and restrained. Only after half a lifetime of trials and storms did I realize that the highest wisdom is never to strive for superiority or flaunt sharpness, but to know advance and retreat, understand restraint, master choice, preserve one's original heart amid noise, and guard peace amid disputes. In this life, I have lived up to my mother's entrustment and my own original heart. I have survived my helpless youth, the perilous deep mansions, the illusory obsessions of love, and the unpredictable storms of the world, finally growing into the person I most want to be, sober, calm, gentle, and resilient. No longer trapped by the past, no longer anxious about the future, no longer indulged in vanity, no longer afraid of wind and frost. No matter how the world fluctuates and human hearts change, my original heart remains unchanged, my steps steady, and my peace unshaken. For the rest of my life, I will continue to hold fast to this transparency and gentleness, guarding my family, mortal fireworks, and ordinary years. I will no longer strive for worldly glory, argue with others' criticism, be trapped by love obsessions, or worry about worldly ups and downs. I only wish for peace in all 4 seasons, tranquil days year after year, family health and joy, and eternal peace as time goes by. Half my life's storms have hidden my sharpness. Half my life's mortal fireworks have carried me through ordinariness. I know all worldly affairs are illusory. Only guarding my original heart grants eternal longevity and peace.